like...
Hey, got you with your head down tonight. I gotta take it up.
I don't think you can have a handle on a mustache and then 4'2". I don't think it works.
You know what? Fuck both you guys. Let's go. Fuck both you guys. Let's go. Here, let's go.
Fuck you, fuck you. Let's fucking go. Let's go.
Diamond North End? Think you're an all-star, huh?
I'm a fucking all-star. Treat me now.
Alright, so as you guys can see, it takes a certain mentality to play hockey, and it takes a certain type of person to willingly get up and fight someone. And so today I'm going to talk to you about the proposed ban on fighting in the NHL and hockey as a whole. So, when fighting happens in hockey, it's really not just, hey, I just kind of want to fight you just because. It's usually in defense of a teammate. As you can see, Andrew Shaw beating up Brad Marchand in the Stanley Cup Finals 2013, which is very personal to me since I'm obviously a Blackhawks fan, so that was a fun time. But, if you've been out around Lawrence, I'm sure you've seen altercations. They don't usually start randomly unless there's alcohol involved. It's usually in retaliation for something. They're trying to motivate someone. But the NHL sees this as a threat. They see their athletes getting concussed and breaking their hands, doing stuff. But NHL enforcers like Andrew Shaw and Stu Grimson have said that it's not really due to that. It's actually due to dangerous hits on the ice more so than fighting. So I'd just like to talk to you today. I did some research through the New York Times, Denver Post, ESPN, YouTube, and the NHL's official rule book to get the ruling on fighting. So if you bear with me, I'd like to explain that rule. The NHL defines fighting as the moment when a player punches or attempts to punch an opponent repeatedly, or when two players wrestle in such a manner like this, which makes it difficult for the referees to intervene and separate the combatants. And when fights occur, it's really up to the ref if they're going to let it go or not. So, it's more for crowd enjoyment, really. Everybody likes a fight at a hockey game, you know the joke. I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. So, yeah, it's a big part of the game, it's huge. But as of recently, hockey as a whole, there's been a lot of controversy. People are getting concussed a lot more than usual, which is sad to see, but it's not due to fighting. But USA Hockey, the governing body of junior hockey, has decided that they wanted to propose a ban on fighting in all their leagues except for their Junior A league, which is the league where most NHL players come from the U.S. It's the 16 through 20 age range. But the ruling would outlaw fighting as a whole, and if a fight were to occur, go figure, in a hockey game, the two fighters would be automatically ejected from the game no matter when it happened. And then the instigator, who is the person who starts the fight, would actually serve a 2-game suspension for the first offense, and every time after that they're viable for more games. But Pierre LeBrun, he's a NHL analyst for ESPN now. He used to work in Canada for Hockey Night in Canada, which is a huge program there. And he worked 13 years for the Canadian Press National News Agency covering hockey. He did a story about this proposed ban in the NHL, which is the pro hockey league in the U.S. and Canada, in case you guys don't know that. But he interviewed a couple fighters, one who actually got their face punched in pretty bad, about why people are getting injured. And they both said that it's really just from NHL fighters getting dangerously hit into the boards, and it's not because of fights. But there was a poll in 2012 taken by the National Hockey League Players Association, and all the players in the NHL took it, and 98% of them said that they wanted to keep fighting in the game. That's not as dangerous as it seems, and that the fighters know the risks associated with punching someone and getting punched. But the reason that injuries are occurring is because people are bigger and stronger today as opposed to back when fighting was really big. But Stu Grimson, the guy in that red sweater, he's one of the best enforcers in NHL history. He played for the Hawks for a long time and a bunch of other teams. But he wrote like an editorial in the Denver Post, actually. But he wanted to say that banning fighting would pretty much do nothing, and if they were to do it for the right reasons, because the people who are fighting, like Stu himself, know what's going to happen, and that fighting is there for people to protect their teammates and motivate their team, not to just be a brute. But if they were going to ban fighting, they should do it because, unfortunately, cheap shots on unsuspecting individuals occur because people are stupid. But it happens a lot, unfortunately. And that the enforcer presence, which is the role that Stu Grimson and a bunch of other players play, keeps like opposing teams honest, so they don't go hitting people into the boards when their backs is turned because they know someone's going to come and beat the living crap out of them if they do something stupid like that. And as the game has evolved, it's gotten a lot faster. So skates are faster, the ice is better, equipment's better. And as that happens, the game speeds up. And so slowing it down with the enforcer makes no sense. So teams are kind of straying away from that. They're just there just in case, something stupid happens. And then I'd just like to conclude that, let's face it, hockey is a tough sport for tough people. Banning fighting would result in a loss of viewership. I know most of you don't watch hockey. As I read in the surveys, I think only 4 of you have probably seen a hockey game. So I know we're in Kansas. There's no pro hockey team really anywhere close. But I know none of you would watch a hockey game without fights. It just kind of happens. But it would also, respect for the game would be lost. And I know a lot of people would stop watching if violence as a whole, hitting, all that stuff was taken out of the game. It just makes it more exciting. Why would you watch football if there was no contact? It just makes no sense. And for me, it's good to hear that former NHL enforcers, that current players and analysts still want to keep fighting in the game and hitting and all that stuff because it's fun. It's a fun sport to watch. But I'd like to bring up the fact that a smart decision would be to develop player safety equipment because people are still getting injured through dangerous hits, and that's not from fighting. So if you get injured from a hit, it's better to have better pads than, banning fighting. So people should be responsible for things that happen on the ice and off the ice, keep people honest. So banning fighting wouldn't really change that. Thank you and God bless.